All right, let me come in here because I've listened to you quite keenly, and you've said a lot of things that have uncovered certain layers of conversation. And I bring this question again to you, but in a different direction. A lot of people say you brought Buhari into politics, not even into the party. Do you regret that trajectory right now? Do you think that if you hadn't, perhaps he wouldn't have been president of Nigeria?
If I have the knowledge of what he really is, let me tell you the problem that I had and millions had. We didn't investigate Buhari. We didn't know who Buhari is when we put our lives on the line for him. So I regret it. Yes, I did. I do.
All right. Sorry, Nkolila.
And I did not bring him into politics, by the way. He met us. When he came in to our office, then I was woman leader, part of the executive of the APP then. When he came in to introduce himself as having come into the APP, I'm the first person whose assistance he solicited. And let me tell you, nobody even wanted him. And I didn't understand why they didn't want him. Because to be very honest, APP then was just a branch of the PDP. They were taking instructions from Obasanjo, which I was taking exception to. So when Buhari came in, he said he'd wanted me to assist him and I should meet him in Kaduna. I followed him. I remember very well, it was a Monday and I met him on a Wednesday. When I went to see him on that Wednesday, I said, sir, is it true that you are in APP to contest presidential elections? He said, yes. And I need your support. I told him that I won't support him. He said, why? I said, because you are a fascist. When I was president of Ahmadu Bello University Students Union, I wrote an article on Buhari and fascism. And he said, Naja, you mean fascist like Hitler? I said, yes. Because this is the conception that we got. So he gave me a brochure of what happened between him and the IBBs, why they... Apparently he was lying, but I believed him then. So from then, from that day, I didn't come back to Abuja nor Kano. I went straight to Kebbi. I spent 1 month trying to put a structure for Buhari. And I did. They are still sitting on my structure. But you know, and we were with him. We stood by him. We gingered. We mobilized. But you know, to our greatest shock, as soon as he was sworn in, Buhari cut off 99% of us. That was the beginning of the beginning. We could not even see him. It took me and a lot of noise for me to get a pass to go into the villa. I have a pass, yes. But there's no need to see him because he doesn't keep any promise. I have shown him documents of corruption of over 137 billion that was stolen from those around him. Till date, he didn't blink an eye. So it's not as if Buhari doesn't know about this corruption. He knows. He just doesn't care.
Okay, let me come in here. I mean, you also said that the challenges that Nigeria faces requires you to continue to champion the struggle for a better country with a clean conscience.
Yes.
And you also said that, you know, supporting the PDP candidate, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, is a support for the lesser evil.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at that as against the backdrop of the yearnings of Nigerians who are saying they're tired of the old school, they're tired of the old class of politicians, they want something fresh, they want a new message. Do you think that he qualifies to be in that category?
I was trying to tell you earlier that I tried, or at least I know 3 of the candidates, the forerunners. I've never sat with Mr. Obi. Obi is a movement. It's a movement that will be very difficult for structural reasons for it to win an election in 2023.
What are the structural
Structures,
reasons?
please. Alhamdulillah. The structural problem, one, is that if, for instance, you have, I'm not sure he even has a gubernatorial candidate in Kano, where I come from. I don't think he has senators or members of the reps. So these are the structure, because these are the people that will be doing the mobilization for you. These are the people that will be defending your votes. You need to put that on ground. That is why I mentioned Kwankwaso. It's the same problem. It is a movement that cannot win now. So, and we don't have the luxury of time.
But people would also argue that countries are fast moving away from structure, looking at citizens and mass participation.
You cannot operate without a structure. You can't. Even here, you have a structure. You can't operate without it. A structure is something concrete. It's not something in the air. You can have millions of votes, but who is there to defend it? Who is there to defend it? Who is your coordinator here? Who is staying on this box? You have to have it. That is what I want our youth to appreciate.
But with the electronic system that is introduced during
Who
election,
is there to even send the electronic vote for you, result for you? That is the structure I'm talking about.
all right, so let's look at just a step back a bit. Okay, before we go to that, we have had endorsements of P2B, for instance, from even people you have also talked about how they performed, like the OBJ and some elders even from the Southwest. So, and what they are saying about it is that it's justice, at least for a president from that part of the country who have not got the opportunity to get there in the first place. So you're talking about conscience, and why you think you're leaving the APC just for your conscience sake, to be sure you're doing the right thing. You don't think it's time to toe that line?
I told you the question of time. OB is a movement. They have no structure on the ground. And let me talk about OBJ with due respect. When Obasanjo contested elections in 2019, he couldn't even deliver water. Water, he couldn't deliver. He got most of his votes from the north. So, and the same Obasanjo tried to mess up. How did Obi even get to be governor? Who stifled his efforts? It was still the same Obasanjo. So there's so much hypocrisy. You understand? We have to look at things concretely. I'm not a sentimental person. I am beyond anyone trying to confuse or lie or deceive me. I see through the smoke screen. I don't think Obasanjo even has the political clout. He knows why he's doing what he's doing. But the reality is this: how much votes can he galvanize for Obi in the Southwest, in Otta?
Okay, so where is the Save Nigeria group? You were a co-convener of that group at the time. That you almost put the government at the time to a standstill. And from what you have explained over the years, 7.5 years of the APC government, we didn't see the Save Nigeria group.
Well, the Save Nigeria group has fizzled out. You see, and there was a time that I was talking to Pastor Tunde Bakari, who I have a lot of respect for. And I said, sir, this is the time to save Nigeria. This is really the time, because the situation is worse and more dire than it was then. But you see, we all have our interests at different given times. So, and situations change. and probably interests change also. And what bothers me, except for the NSAS that gave up a front, quite honestly, I cannot say that there is any group right now, apart of maybe the obedience, that are making a concerted effort.
So why is that? Is it the fear of the government of the day, or is it just complacency, or what exactly?
Generally, you see, let me tell you, generally, our youth are ignorant.
How so?
They are not educated. So when we equate lack of education to blindness. When you are blind and you are being led by rogues, they take you to the slaughterhouse without your knowledge. That is why most governors, the first thing they do is to withdraw education. When you withdraw education, when the mass majority of your youth are not educated, then you take them to the slaughterhouse. That is one. And number two, they deliberately put the mass majority of our people in abject poverty. Most of them are below subsistence. And three, which is worse, is that good and responsible people do not offer themselves to go into politics. I just saw one thing about Baba Ahmed, and he broke down because he said he has never been insulted. It's part of the problem. If you cannot take the hit, you have to leave the kitchen. And you see there is so much hypocrisy with Nigerians when it comes to the question of religion, the manipulation of religion. When you say you are a Christian, and you know that Jesus alayhi salam fought corruption, he fought injustice, he fought to the extent that they looked and tried and did everything to take his life. But you say you are a material. He was spiritual. He didn't have a house. He didn't have anything.
Okay.
But you say you go to God. We prayed unto God, but you go to him with lies and hypocrisy. The same applies to our Muslim brethren. They go to God with lies. So there is this manipulation of religion,
Okay.
this manipulation of tribe, but up there is no difference between them. There is no difference between a Muslim thief, a Christian thief, an atheist thief. And then I keep telling them, when they see, because of deception, they see crime and criminality through a prism of tribe and religion. That is deceptive. Because what difference does it make to the victim that was killed or is killed by IPOP? What difference does it make if an Igbo man kills a Hausa man or a Hausa man kills an Igbo? Does it make any difference to the victim? No. But these things are trivialized. They are manipulated because most of our leaders are themselves criminals. And they don't want people to know. Even our clerics, both Muslims and Christians, I have seen them. Okay. For instance, I have seen clerics talking about Muslim ticket and why it is a jihad. Oh, that is criminal. Because in Islam, let us make it very clear, it is an injunction. The first law made by God in the Quran is when he created the heavens and the earth. He said he sat on his throne and made the first law. The first law is that he has denied himself the right to oppress. Even before he created his creatures. And I have denied, said God, the right for anyone to oppress the other. And then our prophet also said that the rule of an atheist, a just atheist, is better than an unjust Muslim. But our clerics were paid to say that Muslim ticket is the best, and it's so.
So that means you are against that. Really,
I am against
APC.
it. I am against it because it's a lie. It's a form of deception. They are deceived because they think that when you say Muslim, the Northerners all jump onto it.
Was that also part of the reasons you also resigned?
No, that wasn't.
Okay.
I gave you my reason. People, I gave you my reason, and I stand by my reason.
But that didn't matter when you took that decision
It
to
mattered.
support. Okay.
That is why I told you. Initially, I refused the appointment. I refused the appointment. They had to beg me to accept the appointment. Falake is alive. He begged me. I said no. In fact, my rejection of the whole thing started when Asuwaju said, it is his turn. It's not about the country. It is his turn. So Nigeria now is a piece of pie. That you have the knife, you carve and cut for yourself, and then when it is that one's turn, he cuts his own. Nigerians should reject this. It's an insult to us.
Okay, there was something that was quite significant when you talked about support across party lines, and you mentioned that you would still be supporting Binani in Adamawa State.
Yeah.
And I know that you were the nominee for the ACN in 2007 for the Kano Central District at that point.
Yeah.
And you inspire a lot of women to promote national values. Yeah. In terms of your conversations with the candidates, what have been the conversation on women's participation? Because you mentioned something critical, that in the whole country, it is only Binani that is running for the gubernatorial race. And it is quite abysmal for some people because women make half the population of this country and have the voting power, even much more than them. They are the mobilizers. But when it comes to the real-time politicking, you see very little numbers emerge. And I'm wondering, are you having that conversation with your candidate that you want to support?
Which of my candidates?
Atiku Abubakar.
You know, it's too late for me to discuss candidates with him because they have all their candidates. And I keep saying, I am not PDP. I'm still not PDP. I am partyless. I don't belong to
beyond the candidacy, women's participation, the role that women will play, because that's also keen. Because when you're going to go to the elections, you find that even the voting power now have more women who have registered to go into, the polling and the election process. So how does he really look at that currency?
Let me tell you. Let me answer from my own perspective. When you look at a woman, the continued existence of the human species is in the hands of the woman. We reproduce. If we go on strike for 70 years, human beings will cease to exist. That is how important we are. It's a great responsibility that is God-given. And it's for that reason that we have to nurture and nurture that a lot of women do not indulge in politics.
All right, Aja, our time is actually up,
Okay.
But for the sake of Nigerians who are watching you, do you have a sack letter from the APC?
No.
Because that's what the party is saying you were
They are
sacked.
lying. It's so cheap.
So you don't have any letter?
No.
Okay.
So you resigned.
So that's how
I resigned.
So that's how we leave this discussion. We must thank you very much for your boldness and your time with us on Kakaki, the African Voice, the former Director of Civil Society of the All Progressives Congress, APC Presidential Campaign Council, and of course the first woman president of the Students' Union of Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria Hajia Najaatu.